Hello, I'm BX and welcome back to the video. Today we're talking about something very different to what I usually cover on this channel, because this is mostly going to be useful for people who make Minecraft maps or that just like making content for other people to play through that involves hostile mobs. So yeah, if you want to make a parkour that's made more challenging by a ghast or just have skeletons that will attack the player, you might think the easiest way to do this is just to kind of place them down and hope the player runs into them at the right time. But this obviously has a bunch of different downsides and isn't really a good idea for a bunch of reasons, as you can see by the skeleton on fire. And you know, if you want to have like very fixed locations for stuff and make a more, again, like you know, controlled experience in Minecraft, then in today's video I'm going to be teaching you how to do that, because I'll be teaching you how to make mob turrets that can improve your custom map experience / whatever else, and hopefully you do all enjoy this video talking about that. If you do like it, like the video, let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot and lets know you do like learning about mob turrets. Again, this is very different to what I usually cover. Let me know what you think of it. But with that said, let's get straight into it, and let's start with a very brief summary of all of this, because if you only take 20 seconds from this video, take this 20 seconds right here, because there's 3 major ways you can lock a mob into one place and still have it be like somewhat challenging. The first one is to lock him down physically. So for instance, have a skeleton which is surrounded on all sides, you know, by blocks and can't jump out there. So now we've got a, you know, like, again, it's like a dispenser firing arrows, except they will only fire arrows, you know, when we're nearby it, and it will only fire arrows, and it can actually lock onto us to fire those arrows. So yeah, it's still kind of challenging to like kind of dodge them, but as you can see, it's like locked down. That's one way to do a turret, physically lock it down. The second way is to use a minecart, because you can trap any mob in a minecart you want. So you could be like, aha, we're gonna put a let's use a skeleton again. We're gonna put a skeleton. Okay, we're gonna put a skeleton in this minecart and just like, okay, so there we go. Okay, we missed it out, but you can put a skeleton in the minecart, and then you can obviously move the thing around. And then the third way, which is a new one, and it's really interesting, is to have a boat, because the boat can actually tie 2 mobs into the same place, and you can kind of make like a dual, you know, challenging turret. And we'll get into that later, but they're the 3 things you need to bear in mind. There's the locking them down physically, there's the boat, and there's the minecart. So yeah, it's actually a bit more complex than just saying lock them down. It's really easy, because when it comes to locking them down, there's a bunch of really interesting ways you can do it beyond just like what I've done here, where it's, oh yeah, they physically can't move, because you know, this is a you know, this is a turret that will fire in a 180-degree arc, so it won't fire at me once I get past it, but until I get to that point, it's going to shoot me. That's kind of interesting by itself, but you can also do so many more things with this by restricting where the skeleton can shoot from. So again, if we wanted to, you know, a really basic example, we could be like, oh yeah, let's make this a 90-degree you know, thing using gravel apparently. So now the turret can only shoot us from this 90-degree angle. We can make it even smaller. We can make it wider by removing the wall behind it. You can do stuff like that, but then you can also do really cool things, in my opinion, for, let's say you had a maze. So again, say you have a maze here, and to make it more challenging than just, oh yeah, it's a maze you solve in your own time, you could make it so there was a skeleton in the center that can only shoot in the cardinal directions from where you are in the center. So can I place one through there? Yes, we can. So as you can see, that's a skeleton that wants to shoot us all the time, but can only shoot us if we're directly, you know, north, east, south, or west of it. So we go over here, for instance, he'll be able to shoot us because we're directly to the east. Well, he's not locking onto me because I think there's a console bug, but yeah, as you can see when I'm over here, the skeleton can keep locking on, keep firing, and attack me, and that's obviously something you don't want. So if you had a maze like this, you could make it so when you're running past these things, you need to sprint past, because again, you just tried to fight me right there. You've got to sprint past the certain angles, and again, by using these, so if you're curious as to how this technique works, by using a fence and then a never fence, you can make it so they can only shoot very specific places, and this is just kind of stop it. You can make it so you can only shoot at certain heights, certain angles. All these sorts of things can be used to make more interesting, you know, skeleton shots, but also blazes and all the not ghasts, but all the other sorts of mobs that have you know, damages like that, which I think is pretty cool. But again, this is just the start of where the cool stuff goes, because when it comes to ghasts, you can't really lock them down in a place like that because obviously the damages. But if you want to make it so you have ghasts attacking a player and, you know, really being explosive, really hurting them, knocking them back without destroying your stuff, one of my favorite ways to do it is a really simple hole that looks just like this. So it's just a, you know, like a little triangle piece, so like one bit there, one bit there, one bit there. Let me just show you another one right here. Just again, it's really simple, but just so you're 100% sure what we're doing here, you place it like that, and then you place your ghast in the hole. So again, using a spawn egg, this is for creative players, obviously, and now what's going to happen is the ghast can only fire vaguely upwards. So that means that as long as your stuff is either a decent distance behind you, or your walls are made of something you don't mind being destroyed, the ghast won't destroy the platform itself unless it attacks the player. So yeah, as you can see right here, if I jump into these, as you're going to see, like, oh, I jumped over that one. That was pretty cool. But if I jump into one of these, or I just let it explode, it will destroy the ground, but even then, only a little bit, because they're not cut out for the real world, and when they're in the air, they do a bit less damage. So yeah, having a ghast like this means you can have an explosive turret. Literally, it's firing explosions at me, but it keeps your, you know, let's say you have a parkour map, it keeps that parkour safe, and I think that's pretty interesting. So let's make some random parkour right now. So we got this, and then we got like that, and now we got to try and do this while a ghast attacking us. Again, it's like one of those levels in a video game where you've got to keep moving or something attacks you, and you can do that using ghasts. Also, if you want to make players run towards the ghast, or you could have several ghasts, because why not? You can you know, make them do the thing I just did, where they've got to jump over the fireballs, or maybe use it as a jump pad. There's a bunch of cool things you can do, and because of the way you know, ghasts work, where, you know, they'll suffocate if there's more than that in there, but because you know, he's actually trapped in a little block, it means that we've got this, again, gas turret that essentially is making for some really cool challenges. Like, again, to me at least, I just see so many possibilities for this, and if you're a map maker, maybe you do too. Or maybe you, oh, somehow I'm dying. But yeah, maybe you don't see any of that, and you're just like, no, so Cap, that's kind of silly. Maybe this next one will sell you, though, because basically, there's like 5 mobs that have ranged attacks that you'd probably want to use this turret. You've got the ghast I've already shown you, we've got the skeleton, but then we've also got the blaze over here. So the blaze is interesting because it's basically, fiery attacks instead of regular ones. But then the 2 more interesting ones than even that are the guardian and the witch. So actually, right now, we'll combine the guardian and the blaze, because if you put guardian and blaze in a boat together, because again, you can put any 2 mobs in a boat together as long as they're at the right size, you can have this really cool combination. Again, it's locked into one place, and as long as you name tag them both, which we'll do in a second, you can make it so there's these laser beams that cut through your armor, as well as these fire attacks. And again, the combination of these two is something you usually don't get to experience in Minecraft, and it just feels really cool. It feels video gamey, which obviously makes sense because it's Minecraft. But it actually feels that way, and I imagine, again, the possibilities of this, in my head at least, are just kind of springing, like, oh yeah, you can make a really cool challenge where there's like 5 snipers, and you gotta like get behind cover in time, because also these fire attacks, they do a lot of damage, and they kind of encourage you to do that way. And especially if you want to just be like, I really like the idea of a guardian and a blaze. Why not just have 2? Oh, do you see that like random frame drop? You just have 2 guardians in a boat if you wanted to, because the cool thing about that is then you can have like 2 laser beams, and because these cut through armor, even if you give the player the most ridiculously OP armor, this is still something they have to be scared of regardless of where they are. So yeah, cool way to kind of, again, for the maze, kind of element of fun, or maybe parkour, or whatever it is, you can kind of encourage players to be on a time frame to play kind of fast, because look at that, double hit. Oh, I think one of them hit the other one actually, but still, you can do some interesting stuff with that, and I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, the final suggestion here is to use a minecart to make a mob turret, which is on a rail and is always moving around. Oh, quite literally on a rail. And so for instance, let's just use this because it's a really basic example. So if we wanted to, we could have 2 witches in there, one in this one. Okay, so we're gonna place her on the tracks, and then we can like push that into her. There we go. We got our witch there, and then we'll do the same with this one over here, hopefully. So oh no, we gotta knock them in. Okay, so they got knocked by their one, but as you can see, oh, witch fight, yeah. But as if you could have 2 witches running around in their little carts like that. And I think this is a really interesting idea, because if you have them running around on a set, thing, you can have the time be like, oh yeah, you've got to make sure you don't go past when they're going right, kind of like Frogger, or you could just do something where, yeah, they're moving around, that makes them so much more challenging to fight, because trying to find a witch is kind of tricky already, because potions and all that sort of stuff, but if they're running at a really fast speed, if you've got powered rails making them run really fast, then you can make any mob fight even more challenging, kind of in the way, think about the skeleton buff recently, you can apply that to any mob. You can make a guardian run away from you at crazy speeds, you can make a blaze run away from you at crazy speeds, and I just think that's something that you should perhaps consider. Anyway, mob turrets in Minecraft, this was, here are some thoughts I've had about it. I spent a lot of time, playing around with this sort of stuff, and again, I'm not making a custom map or anything, but, there's so many ideas I have for one right now, and hopefully one of you at least, takes up on one of these, or maybe you just enjoyed the video and you learned something about mobs. I don't know, I hope you all enjoyed regardless. I have a lot of fun, messing around every now and then, making something like this. Let me know if you want to see, more, I guess, custom map tips, but just about weird stuff I've run across, to do with the Elytra, or to do with, features that are kind of weird and only work there, with the comments down below. Like it if you did like it, though, share it if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.